Welcome, everybody. My name is Jen Davies. I'm the manager of the Career Development Services at the Academic Advising and Career Center, and I'm really excited to be your panel moderator today to discuss Caribbean medical school options. Very exciting. Do you want to make sure folks are aware that today's session is being recorded? Advantage, you can catch it later, but of course, allow that to affect your choices of behavior. If you know, during an open mic section, if you would rather not have your voice captured, of course, please do feel free to engage in the chat box. We've already got a little bit of a conversation going with introductions, and if you haven't yet taken the opportunity to introduce yourself to our panelists, please do feel free to do so. At this point, what I would like to do is invite Sarah to play our land acknowledgement.
We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates.
For thousands of years,
it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat,
the Seneca,
and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit.
Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island.
And we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land.
Thanks so much, Sarah. So at this point, what I'd like to do is get right into the good stuff and have our guests introduce themselves. I will let them introduce themselves. So our first question is actually hoping to lead us there. If you could please provide the name and school or program that you're representing today, and tell us a little bit about why studying medicine in the Caribbean. Broadly speaking, don't worry, you'll have a chance to talk about why your school is unique in a moment, but if you could just share with us, broadly speaking, about why studying medicine in the Caribbean is a realistic option for Canadian students, I would really appreciate that. And if I could trouble you to try not to repeat each other, the person who goes last has the biggest challenge. So I think I'm going to start with Tiffany, if I may, and then just so our colleague from St. George knows, I'm going to go Tiffany, Ruby, Warren, and Josh from St. George's, you're going to go last. All right, so Tiffany, take it away. Tiffany, you are muted.
I am muted, yes.
I
just realized, it just told me that. So again, thank you for inviting me to speak today. My name is Tiffany, and I represent Stigma University School of Medicine. I think that the reality of so many Canadian students having a challenge getting into those Canadian medical schools because they're bottlenecked. The Caribbean is a fantastic option. It's absolutely gorgeous down there, and who wouldn't want to get out of the cold and snow and go down to a beautiful island and study medicine and get some outstanding experiences, as well as an entirely different view on medicine itself.
Thank you. And then I think I said I was going to go Ruby, Warren, Josh. So Ruby, you're up next.
Sure. I'm Ruby Gilani. I'm representing Ross University School of Medicine, as well as American University of the Caribbean. And not to echo Tiffany's words as you requested, but yes, why not go to an island? Definitely, we have a problem of not enough seats in Canada, and solving that issue of giving that opportunity to people to fulfill their dream, to give back. And we have a shortage of physicians, so we want to be able to solve that issue by providing that opportunity. So definitely that is there. That's what we're here to provide, but also the unique customization that you can get in the experiences that you have. A lot of alumni networks that are huge that you can access, that are practicing all over North America. You have access to student care coordinators along the way, and just unique island opportunities that you wouldn't actually receive maybe in a mainland. So, things like the cadavers and whatnot that you might be able to work with, as well as just the resiliency building. If once you've lived on an island, you can live anywhere. It's a global opportunity for you, and you get to go to a lot of unique places to practice when you're doing some clinical rotations, core and elective rotations as well. So make it global.
Thank you so much, Ruby. Those are some good ones. We're not leaving much for Warren and Josh. Warren, you're up next.
Sorry.
Hi, everybody. My name is Warren Eisen, and I represent Trinity School of Medicine. Why go to Caribbean Med School? I think the early clinical experience is what really stand out. A lot of the US or majority of US and Canadian med schools, you only get into a clinical setting in your third year clinical clerkship, as opposed to, starting very early on in your first year, being exposed to the hospital, going into the clinics as early as your first semester. Having these experiences will really make you very competitive in your residency application because you have about 2 years of clinical advantage in comparison to the US and Canadian students that are applying for the same residency spots. So I think that's one of the best things that I wanted to highlight about Caribbean med schools.
That is something I did not know. Thank you for that, Warren. All right, Josh, I hope you've been listening carefully. Can you add anything else?
Thanks for the opportunity to be here. Yeah, so my name is Josh Ramjust. I am representing St. George's. I'm also a graduate of the school and I'm from Toronto. I did my undergraduate at the University of Toronto. And then I went to SGU and I graduated from there in 2011. And I'm a board certified general surgeon. I did my residency in New York. And right now I'm a fellow at the Hospital for Sick Children, which I'm sure you all know, downtown Toronto, in pediatric surgery. And so I think that that's why St. George's, or why you think about going to the Caribbean or going abroad, is because there is an established pathway back to Canada. And in my case, back to Toronto, which is home. So, I think I get to be the living proof that what the stories you hear about people who go abroad and come back home, they are true.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you self-disclosing your story, because that is one of the biggest questions that I would say that we get from our Canadian students is really what are the mechanisms in place to help me come back to Canada if I choose to do that. I did share previously in the chat box that I have a cousin who graduated from CEBA. She chose CEBA, I just shared in the chat box, because it is a rock. And there is, in fact, no beach, she said, or at least not the kind of beach that she would be attracted to. And she deliberately chose it for herself, to aid her self-discipline, that she wouldn't find it a distraction. Now, if you have good self-discipline, it probably won't be an issue, but for her, she knew that was a priority. All right, so I would like to ask our guests now to go on to some of the most exciting things about your institution specifically. And Josh, maybe we can go backwards and I'll give you the first word on this. What in your experience has been unique about St. George's University?
So I think one of the things that sets us apart is we have the opportunity for you to do your basic science years in two geographically different locations. So my first year was actually in Newcastle, England. And so I lived in Newcastle for the first year. And then my second year was down in Grenada. And then I did my clinical rotations in New York. And we have over 70 to 90 clinical sites across North America, in Canada, and in the United States. So it gives you the opportunity to see a wide expanse of medicine. And that's something really you can't have anywhere else in the world.
Thank you for that. So that's a unique feature of St. George's. Warren, what makes Trinity School of Medicine unique?
Thank you for that question, Jen. Trinity School of Medicine is unique in such a way that I would like to echo what I said earlier. We start our clinical rotations very early on. First week, first semester, you're already rotating at our partner hospitals. That gives you, like Ruby had mentioned, a global advantage because we do our clinicals as early as first year, first semester in the Caribbean. In your third year, you'll be exposed to US clinical core clerkships. And in your final year, you have the actual option to go back here to Canada to actually do your elective. And that is what makes our program quite unique. That's also why we have a very high, residency match rate as well. We have currently an 86% residency match rate. We are also a smaller university. So we have a 1:10 faculty student ratio. So we really, try to invest in our students, make sure that they get the attention that they need. We only take in about 150 students a year. That really allows us to focus on each student individually and to really customize everything for your learning needs.
Thank you for that. And Ruby, if I'm going backwards, you're next. What makes, I guess you're going to have to answer twice, right? What makes Ross University unique, and then what makes the American University of the Caribbean unique?
Sure, I'll start with unique from each other. AUC is the smaller class sizes, really geared towards additional hands-on and customization, but Ross offers that as well. So the smaller program is AUC, where we offer those. And then you also have the unique opportunity at Ross to have that small class based learning in the labs as well. So you'll have, anywhere from 2 to 9 students there. At AUC, it's about the same, maybe a little bit smaller, up to 5 students or so in a group learning for exercises. But truly, when we talk about customization, it is right from the get-go, the hands-on learning, but also the amount of faculty mentors that are available, invested in your success. It really is a two-way street. As much as you're supposed to be an adult and say, hey, I didn't do so well on that 3rd week exam, I need to seek some resources. Faculty will also approach you and say, hey, what do we need to do? Let's make sure you have the right resources in place to really succeed. So they're kind of very interested in your success. It's two-way like that. And they want to ensure that you're set up. So they have faculty mentors, student care coordinators, everything in place, especially right from first semester to weekly, you're checking in with them to make sure that you have the right peer tutoring groups in place, everything that you need to really succeed through that program and not struggle through it. So unique in that way.
Thank you so much. So I'm hearing a lot about early clerkship starting, pardon me if my language is incorrect, but early exposure to hospital settings and care settings. How about that? I'm hearing about smaller class sizes. I'm hearing about customization. Tiffany, what makes SEBA unique? Or is it SABA? I was never sure.
It is SEBA University. It's located on the island of Saba, which is a municipality of the Netherlands, so it's a Dutch island. As you had mentioned, it is not your typical tropical island. It is known for its deep sea fishing and scuba diving. 85% of our students come off the island and are diverse certified. But what really makes Saba unique about school specific is it mirrors that US medical school. So it's a systems-based learning. You're going to get hands-on clinical experience from your very first day. You have standardized patients that you're going to be working with. We're one of the very few Caribbean medical schools that sends cadaver bodies down for our students to have a first cut experience. We believe that's extremely important for our students' learning. In addition, and it's not just 1 or 2 cadavers. For every 5 students, there's 1 cadaver sent. So there's lots of time to get your hands in that body. There's that faculty mentoring that all of the other schools have mentioned. But another thing that we do unique is we do a research literature review and analysis paper that students have to do 4th semester. And it really helps set them apart when they are sitting down for those residency interviews. It expresses that they have the ability to do medical research and that they have a passion in some capacity for a specialization. In addition, we set our students down in a simulated testing center, semester 5, and they write a USMLE Step 1 mock exam. The retired questions from the USMLE are built into the curriculum throughout your entire time on the island, which is 5 semesters, approximately 20 months, years 1 and 2. And from that simulated task, students are going to know their strengths, their weaknesses, and their score thereabout. Then we take that information and we put together an individualized study plan for them to help increase their score. So what this does for Canadian students is they have to take the MCC QE1 and the QE2 exam, right? Well, there's such a huge overlap. So they would write the USMLE Step 1 exam. They'd wait a week in between. They'd brush up on that Canadian ethics section. And the overlap is so huge that they breeze through that Canadian exam with flying colors. SEBA has had the last couple of years, we have a 5-year average of greater than 99% USMLE step pass rate. Our Canadian students pass their exams with the high same numbers. And we have a 94% first time match rate. So a lot of our Canadian students find their way back to Canada or even states close to Canada so that they can still be close to home, but practice the type of medicine in which they want to specialize in.
Thank you for that. And thank you for bringing up the opportunity to talk about things like examinations, because whether you go to medical school in Ontario, somewhere else in Canada or in the United States or the Caribbean, there are all kinds of processes that will not change, including regular examinations. So if you are not someone who loves exams, oh, the medicine process is going to be tricky for you. So I'd like to go on to our next question. And if you don't mind, actually, I'd like to start with Ruby, because Ruby, you're representing two programs today. So you may have slightly different things to say, I don't know. But describe for us a strong medical school application, of course, which goes beyond, but will include, what is a competitive GPA and what's a competitive profile?
Had to find my unmute button there. Yeah, thanks. So in looking for a competitive student, we are very holistic in our approach. So we are looking at every student on a case-by-case basis. That also makes us unique. I'm sure all the Caribbean schools have that going on for them, but it is holistic. We are looking at our students case by case. We are not just looking for those numbers, and it's not that we just don't talk to you. If you don't have a certain GPA or a certain MCAT score, we're going to stop talking to you. That's not how it looks. So on average, for us, it is at 2.8 and 486 MCAT scores will start to actually unlock scholarships. Ross has merit-based scholarships, and AUC has scholarships that are dedicated to our Canadian students. So that actually helps make it affordable. But that's kind of a blanket thing, so that's not merit-based. But anyways, I was talking about strong applications. We are looking for overall, yes, a strong GPA. We're looking for those prerequisite courses to be a really strong foundation in addition to your degree. The MCAT score we're going to be looking at, and we'll take it on average. And then we're looking for that additional experience that you come with. So what have you done to go above and beyond to go and get additional experience, especially in areas that you claim to be interested in during an interview process? For us, the interview process is not, it's not meant to be a weeding out process. It's meant to be an interview of best fit. So we will look at the interview scores, your interpersonal skills. We're not looking for, hey, you don't have to be a 4.0 student for 4 years straight to be a great doctor, and we know that. And so we are looking for all of those pieces. Have you done some research? Have you gone and gained some hands-on experience, shadowing experience in multiple areas to actually gain a variety and have a very realistic view of what the profession looks like? It can be a demanding career. You have so many options after your MD is complete. So we want to ensure that you have a very realistic perspective of what you're getting into. So we are looking at all of those pieces overall. And then strong recommendation letters are going to matter as well. So we want to be able to say, academically and professionally speaking, are you able to get those references, people to vouch for you to say great things? So looking at all of those things overall and seeing how well-rounded you can be from those.
Thank you, Ruby. And that is definitely the kind of advice we offer to our students, whether they're pursuing medicine in the United States, Caribbean, or anywhere in Canada. So maybe I'll throw it to our other reps. Maybe I'll start with Warren and then go Josh and then Tiffany. What else would you like to add? I imagine your expectations are somewhat similar.
Very true. So not to echo what Ruby had just mentioned, but we do really look at every candidate in a holistic perspective. And so how we do that, we interview every single applicant, making sure that we really get to know them in not just surface level. So we do look at GPA, obviously, and MCAT scores. But while those help in us making decisions and accepting a student, we look at other, strengths of the student, and we really allow them to to vocalize that and show that to us during these interview process. Our average incoming students GPA is about 3.2, and our MCAT is about 501, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if you're below that threshold that you don't have any chance in getting accepted into our program. We want strong candidates, obviously, but those grades don't necessarily mean that, if you're below that, you're not a strong candidate. We'll look at every single perspective of your application, including your research background, which really truly helps. And so I highly encourage you to start early on to be involved in research as well as other extracurricular activities. Being involved in leadership roles is also something that we look into very, very much, as doctors or physicians are leaders in a hospital setting. And so if you're involved in like clubs such as pre-med clubs, bio clubs, and things of volunteer experiences, we really want to see those and be highlighted in your interview process.
Thanks for that, Warren. And actually, maybe this is a nice segue to Josh, because you did actually make your way back to Canada and you are a Canadian. CanMed's roles, is that something that I know it's something Canadian medical institutions look at? Josh, are you aware of St. George's interest at all in things like the CanMed's roles? And Josh, you are correct.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's an excellent point where CanMeds is really paramount. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, it's the different attributes or domains that a physician is expected to encompass. They include things like being a leader, a scholar, a medical expert. And so I think that it serves as an excellent framework for a prospective student to be able to sculpt their application, and it defines who they are as an individual. And I think that that's important, because we recognize, as many people have already said, that there's a lot of variation in who applies to medical school. And ultimately, our goal is to accept people who have a propensity towards success in obtaining a residency and then going on in their medical career. St. George's is blessed in having been around the longest, and therefore having the most time with students, that we know students from pretty much like 90% of post-secondary schools across North America. And so we're very familiar with the courses. We also, having had graduates like myself who's went to the University of Toronto, I can tell you about how hard certain courses are. I know we have hard courses. And so we have that learned experience of being able to recognize that a student who comes from the University of Toronto comes with a certain level of quality that is inherent to the institution. And that's because we have past experience, alumni like myself who have gone through the system. And so we can have a little bit of adaptation within our GPA metrics. With respect to our average GPA, it's about a 3.2 to 3.4 in terms of entry, and then an MCAT on average about a 501 to 503. But again, those vary depending upon the competitiveness of the class that arrives.
Thanks so much. All right, Tiffany, you get to put the cherry on our sundae. What else would you add?
Sure do. So I echo all of the things that everyone had said about the holistical approach. The thing that SEBA is really looking at in terms of, that fantastic applicant and what they can do to help bring their file to the forefront is really, and I apologize, I have a jet getting ready to fly by, so if it gets loud, that is why. But we're looking for, that humanism, that altruism, those leadership skills. Oftentimes, students that are coming to us have, they've had a stumbling block that they map, right? Which is why they're unable to get into those Canadian medical schools. And so we understand that. We look at that each and every student from the perspective that they provide us with. And that is, tell us how we see that you've met adversity. How did you, what skills did you put in place and utilize, and how did you overcome those, and what were the results? Really, getting involved, whether it is something on campus, whether it's off campus, and we understand, and I know that's one of the questions that we're going to be leading into, so I won't touch too much on that. But really giving us a good understanding of who you are, checking your maturity level is huge, and are you financially prepared to fund your education? For medical school can be very costly, and so there's a lot of moving pieces. We do not require the MCAT for our Canadian students. It's recommended, but it is not required. So, that's one last thing that Canadian students have to worry about when they're applying to our medical school. We can give a workaround if you've had a less than ideal grade for a particular subject matter. If you go back and repeat that course, we can work with you, and that's where I think the schools on the panel really have a separating difference. Is we're a lot more forgiving in regards to potential stumbling blocks that you've had throughout your career. Let's be honest. Usually that first year, a lot of students are really just kind of finding their way, and they think they have the study skills, but they don't necessarily have them all down for university. And there's just so many moving parts, and that extra freedom from getting out of mom and dad's house and so on and so forth. And so SEBA really looks at every student holistically. And then if they're not a great fit for our institution, we have two other sister schools. We have Medical University of the Americas and St. Matthew's University, where we can say, hey, maybe you'd be a better fit for one of our sister schools. And we actually do a soft handoff and do an introduction and kind of allow them to navigate those waters as well.
If I may, I will also share that it seems like our panelists know each other a little bit. So there's definitely a support network that I've detected even just in the process of getting ready for our panel today. And that's really nice to know that, if a school says, you know what, you're not a great fit for us necessarily, but you know what, I know an institution where you might be a fit. Can I introduce you? That's really cool. So for our next question, I'm going to go a little out of order because we sort of wrapped up beautifully. And Tiffany, I'm going to throw this one to you first because you were talking about experience. Well, we all talked about experience. I'll go Tiffany and then Josh. How can a student sort of beef up that experiential piece of their profile, given that there have been 2 years of significant interruption in the more typical ways that students would have shadowed or gained hospital-based experience? Would you go first, Tiffany? And then
yeah, absolutely. And we understand that, right? Like we're all going through due to COVID. If we hear that anymore, I think we're all going to, our heads are going to explode. But the thing about it is there are lots of ways, right? Whether that is volunteering to do some type of social outreach virtually. I mean, you can rework your resume and your experiences to really fit your needs. And we're all in uncharted territories. And so we're really, on our end, a lot more lenient on, those experience hours. We understand you're not going to be able to shadow doctors and get into clinical experiences and just due to the nature of everything that's going on. But maybe get a job being a phlebotomist or get your ENT certification so that you can work around patients and you get that type of experience. Is healthcare really where you want to be? You may have had the dream way back when, but once you're in the field, is it really your passion? There's so many things that students can do, even outreach, social outreach, helping feed the homeless. That shows your compassion, your humanism, your altruism, really, your leadership skills, volunteering, getting, doing projects for the pre-med club, the biology club, even the social work club, just getting some type of experience extracurricular really shows that that you're able to go above and beyond the extra mile. And that's really what students can do, just a little bit extra.
appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm going to go Josh, Warren, Ruby. Josh?
Thanks very much. This is an excellent question. I think that there's a lot of struggles, and the hospitals themselves and physicians within them have had to make a massive pivot. So you're not alone. Like, we've had to redefine our roles and understand what it is that we hope to accomplish. And I think at the end of the day, so if you do nothing, that's a problem. You got to do something. And whatever you do, just think about how does it get you to your end goal. So if it's, as been talked about, like helping out within your community, I don't even think it has to be medically based. I think it's being able to find that connection to another human that's important. You know, some of the best people who've ever interviewed or who I've interviewed, they don't have a ton of medical experience, but they have a lot of people experience. And so recognizing that medicine, you know, we can get into the numbers and the nitty gritty of how do you get into a residency and what are the cool procedures that I do on a daily basis. None of it really matters. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is, am I able to make a connection with a family? Am I able to bring their kid home for them safely at the end of the day? And so the way in which you manifest that is really up to you. You could be having to work, and that's okay. You don't have to be volunteering. We recognize, especially at St. George's, that your social circumstances are unique to you. So talk a little bit about what your experience was and how did you end up what did you gain from it? How did you end up there? And what do you hope to achieve or take from it as you go forward? And that'll speak volumes as you go forward.
Thanks, Josh. Warren?
Definitely agree with my co-panelists here that, you know, there's many things that you could look into apart from volunteering in the hospital. One of them is research, and I feel that research is something that is overlooked in a lot of the application process, but we find it very, very interesting that a student as early as in an undergrad program has a deep interest in research. As you know, medicine is a continuous process of learning, and these research that happens in school and post-program are, the beginning of other new technologies that we use now. And so we feel that if you can involve yourself in a lot of research opportunities, I believe that will really increase your opportunities in landing, an admissions here at Trinity or in other schools as well. On top of that, I believe that, to echo what Josh had said, really honing on your skills, whether it be at work or leadership, and just being a huge part of the community that you're part of. I think that speaks volume of how compassionate you are as a person, and that will kind of resonate when you become a physician yourself.
Thank you, Ruby. You get the last word on this. Ruby, you're muted. Sorry.
Thank you. I said, I think everything's been said. The leniency is there. We need the outside the box thinking. The research matters. And then also that virtual volunteering that you mentioned, I think that's really helpful. We're also offering some webinars on specific topics that will help you get some information under your belt, and also running suture workshops as well online, so you could actually take part in those. So we'll definitely pass on the information as well if anybody wants to join those. But it's unique ways like this, we all have to adapt and be flexible, and take what you can get as it comes, and create those opportunities. Sometimes it just means, maybe it's weird hours that you're volunteering, or at a short staffed clinic, right? And so maybe it's just driving a little bit further. So creating those opportunities, outside the box thinking matters at this moment, but everything else has been said. So great. Thank you, panelists.
Thank you. Crowdsourcing, right?
Yeah.
And I want to share just a little story of a student that I worked with a couple of years ago, who was who realized late in his undergraduate career that he wanted to pursue medicine. Now, thankfully, he'd done an undergrad in something like biochemistry or chemistry, and he had taken biology courses. So he had a lot of those academic, prerequisites, but he was worried about the experience piece, because he was becoming aware that that was really important. And I asked him, well, how have you been spending your spare time? And he said, ball hockey. I said, well, tell me more about ball hockey. Well, it turns out that he was ball hockey, intercity charity tournaments, team captain on multiple teams, intramurals, teaching it to kids. So he had this incredible depth and passion for that particular sport. So it doesn't necessarily, to the point that it doesn't have to be shadowing doctors right now, because you can't. It could also be demonstrating a lot of those. Actually, he demonstrated a lot of the CanMeds roles very easily through the ball hockey stuff. A lot of it has to do with the character that you show in whatever it is that you're doing. Because at medical school, they're going to teach you the medicine. You don't have to come in knowing the medicine. That's why you go to medical school. So we'll go on to our backtrack to our other question. So that was a student late in his career. What advice do you have for students early or late, actually, I would say, but especially those students who are maybe in the first year of their undergraduate studies, who wants to go to medicine? And Warren, I feel like I've hardly given you the first word on anything, so I'm going to start with you.
One of the advice our current, our past alumni, Dr. Nazir Sharfuddin, she's a U of T alumni as well. She graduated here at Trinity 3 years ago, and full circle for her, she's now teaching at U of T medical school program. So, it's really, fascinating how it turned around for her. But one of the advice she usually gives our students during webinars and information session is always be the most hardworking person in the room. And that also goes for, all your volunteer experiences, all your academics. It really shows your resiliency, and that kind of will show also or reflect in your transcripts as well. So during your, in your clinical experiences, I would recommend for you to be the first person in, last person out. And that's how you'll really stand out in a pool of many medical physicians. Also, one of the advice she tells our students is never just be stuck in doing your MD program here in Canada or in the US. There's many opportunities out there like Trinity School of Medicine that will give you the same opportunity or even better, to become a physician, and just don't be stuck.
Thanks for that. So now I'm going to go Ruby, Tiffany, Josh. Ruby?
Thanks, Jen. I would say, relationship building is really important in addition to, yes, be a hard worker, definitely. But adding on to that, relationship building, build relationships with professors early, seek help early. I often see those students that have maybe hit some bumps along the way. Life happened to them, first year, second year, those struggle semesters. Build those relationships early, get help early. When you're struggling, it should never come as a surprise at the end of a semester that something went wrong. Build relationships with your professor. It's also where you can build that research experience, and you let them know, hey, I'm going to be asking for a reference letter, a positive reference letter at the end of the semester. What can I do to work with you more closely to build a stronger relationship so you can provide that letter to me? So building those relationships early, also with your peer groups. If you find that you're struggling, ask for help. This is really where you have to start taking that ownership of your learning and being successful. So I think those things are necessary early on as well. And then use your summers wisely. If you have breaks, use them to explore, really just explore your areas of passion, and ensure that you're making the right choices. Do you have ideas about what it is that you want to do later with your MD, wherever that may be? So
Thank you. Tiffany?
Yeah, that's all great advice. Absolutely. And what I would suggest is that it's okay to not know, right? So many students go right into, oh my gosh, I don't know what kind of medicine I want to practice. I know I want to practice medicine, but I don't know. Well, it's okay. That's the whole point of you going off to medical school, is to keep all of your options open. Don't put yourself in one particular area and think that, okay, I've made a decision. This is all I can do. There's an opportunity, just like, graduating from high school and transitioning into your undergraduate. You don't know what you don't know, right? So the typical is, I want to be a psychiatrist, or I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be this. But then they get into college and they say, oh, there's all these other fantastic areas I can study that I didn't even know about. So really just keep your options open, go into everything with an open mind. As Ruby had said, get that social network started early. Lean on a peer group for studying, really hone your study skills, because that's going to come in handy for sure when you're in medical school. And, get involved, but not too involved. And by that, I mean, don't overextend yourself, right? So don't start joining a bunch of clubs and organizations because you think it's going to make you look good on your resume. But then your grades falter because you have so many social obligations that you can't keep up with everything. So as with everything, there's a work-life balance that happens, and the same thing is true in medical school. You're still going to have to find time for that mental break and for you to be able to be successful in medical school. But there's also that serious study component, and you putting together study groups with your peers and reaching out to your faculty for content that you may not understand. And so start now and learn those habits so that when you do start a medical program, they're all set in place and you're ready to go. Your foundation is solid.
Thanks for that, Tiffany. And Josh, you get the last word on advice for students who are maybe early on in their studies, or late for that matter.
Perfect. Thank you. Great advice from the panel so far. So I have the fortunate experience of having lived it, being a pre-med student at U of T, and I know what it's like to have that soul crushing like first few exams and be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm never going anywhere. So I have 2 points of advice. One is absolutely you have to work on self-bettering and doing well, but take time for yourself. Like, self-care is important. Recognize that like this is a long road. It's not a sprint race to get into medicine or to get into any really professional career these days. So it's a marathon. Take time for yourself. My other point of advice, which is completely on the opposite spectrum, is don't be afraid of failing. I have messed up multiple times in my life, socially, academically, professionally. It's okay, things work out. And I think don't be afraid to fail, because some of my greatest learning opportunities have been in picking myself up and retooling, figuring out how I'm going to reconfigure. So I think sometimes you can get apprehensive and worried about failing and worried about how will it be perceived that you don't even start. That's okay. Just start. Don't be afraid to fail. You can figure it out if you do.
And often we can see a fail coming, right? And prevent it. So thanks for that, Josh. Josh, maybe I can let you continue there, because I wanted to add a question, and I've let all our panelists know. What about paying for medical school? I meet a lot of students who even are coming into Canada, who are attending Canadian and Ontario medical schools. They're often surprised at the costs and aren't sure where the money is going to come from. So at St. George's, for example, Josh, what kind of conversations can students expect to have about money?
Yeah, and I mean, this is often the elephant in the room. St. George's is known for being a fairly expensive institution. That being said, I'm standing here 10 years out from graduation and I'm debt free. So I feel pretty good about that. And it's really because of a combination of a lot of scholarship money, almost a third to half of my tuition. I achieved scholarships from St. George's, which made it very affordable. And then in addition, there are professional lines of credits that many Canadians have access to. And through those financial partners, that's created a lot of opportunity. And then a little bit of further is with personal savings. So that combined, I think, is key to be able to fund your education.
Thanks for that, Josh. And maybe I'll just go up through the list that I can see. Ruby, Tiffany, Warren. So Ruby, maybe you can go next.
Sure, I think he's pretty much laid it out. Provincial loans, federal is a little bit more minimal there. Definitely the scholarships that are offered. I think our schools are making sure that we want Canadian students. We love our Canadian students, trying to ensure that it's affordable for them. So we've taken the right steps to ensure that. And then a combination of bank loans. I've seen people do student lines of credits, professional lines of credits, and sometimes a combination of bank loans to fulfill that rest. Typically, you do need a cosigner. So if anyone has questions about that, you do need a cosigner if you're trying to go through banks. And so you will need that. Hopefully you have maybe someone to support you if you're getting a giant amount of loans. But I always urge students not to look at it as I'm getting this entire, this large amount of debt. Look at it as an investment, because the money will come. As Josh mentioned, you have a success story from a Caribbean school right in front of you. We have a network of 22,000 students between our schools. If they were all suffering from it, we wouldn't be sitting here today. So definitely have those conversations. We also have alumni mentors that are able to help you walk through those. We have student ambassadors that are able to help you walk through those pieces. You're never really alone. So you have the support in place to ensure that once you're accepted, you're not alone on any of those pieces, visas, financing, housing, all of those pieces. You have people to walk you through those. So don't be afraid to have those conversations and ask for help. We'll definitely get creative with you.
Thanks so much, Tiffany.
Yeah, so SABRE really works hard to ensure that we keep our tuition costs as low as possible for our students. And so, it is in US dollar. It's approximately from start to finish $185,000 US dollar. We have a $65,000 Canadian, it's US dollar, Canadian loyalty scholarship, and then it's stackable. So if there's any academic merit scholarships that students are eligible to receive, they can stack it on top of that $65,000 scholarship. As a matter of fact, I just had a Canadian student start in September. And, she ended up with $100,000 in total cost from scholarships. And then, of course, as Ruby mentioned, depending on your province, and obviously it's Ontario, they vary from province to province for what provincial loans will cover towards your medical school. And then also students will take out personal loans through banks. Family members will oftentimes help supplement, and then working, as Ruby had mentioned previously, in the summers, helping build that bank so that you have a little bit of extra when you go down to the island to live and help you feel a little more secure. And then I won't say too much more because I know Warren needs an opportunity to say as well.
100%. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for leaving me some things to say regarding scholarships. But yeah, just to echo everybody else, obviously the Canadian federal and provincial loans programs are great, but I'd like to really emphasize that Trinity has the most affordable tuition fee wise when it comes to accredited Caribbean med schools. Our total tuition fee is about $154,000, and scholarships are unlocked with MCAT scores as low as 485. And so we really get to get our tuition fee the lowest possible cost that we can to help students really navigate these very, very expensive ordeal. And so we have as I've mentioned, MCAT scholarships as well as academic scholarships. We also have many bursaries that are included in our program, such as if you've been part of the military, you'll get about $10,000 in a bursary. If you've been part of the social network, or like, you've been volunteering as a social worker and helping out the community, you'll get about $5,000 to $10,000 more that is stackable on top of your MCAT scholarships as well. So we really try to make it, the most affordable way we can.
Thank you. I'm just responding to a question here in the chat box. So someone was asking about OSAP. The trouble with a lot of the Canadian student loans is they're just not enough. So they'll certainly work with the institutions here, but OSAP caps out, please don't quote me on this, always check because it changes every year, but it maxes out around $14,000. So it's a start, but it's not going to carry you for a whole year of medical school. Even in Canada, actually, it's not going to carry you for a whole year of medical school as well. It's definitely not enough. So before we go into our breakout rooms, because that is our next step, you'll have the opportunity to ask our guests about your private situation in breakout rooms, or so if you have very specific questions about their institution, you'll be able to do that. But before we go and jump ourselves into those breakout rooms, and I do hope everyone will stay for that, I wanted to give each of our guests one last chance to comment on maybe the reapplication process if someone's not fortunate the first time, although I'm hearing that it sounds like most of you will coach. And so if someone needs to make a reapplication, you would actually help them with that. Or any other advice that you'd want to share. And maybe I'll just go backwards. I'll go Warren, Tiffany, Ruby, Josh, if that's okay. So Warren, you get first shot at any other advice you have before we go to breakout rooms?
Yeah, I think just overall, I just wanted to overcome the stigma of going into the Caribbean med school. I think this is something that is overlooked in, conversations like this. Going to Caribbean med school has its old stigma primarily because there were no accreditations in the past that made sure that all these Caribbean med schools like Trinity, SEBA, et cetera, are following the same standards as that of a Canadian and a US med school. Right now, all of us are accredited universities, making sure that you are getting the same quality of education that you would have gotten here in Canada or in the US. So don't feel, like frustrated if you don't get into a Canadian or US med school in your first try. We exist because of the bottleneck that Tiffany was saying. It's getting so difficult to get into a Canadian med school. So open up your eyes, do your research, and make sure you talk to every one of us here to make sure that you're making the right decision for your future.
All right, I believe that next one that falls on me for going in order. So what I would say to students is, one, apply early. For us, you can apply a full year in advance. So year 11 or junior year, as we say in the United States, you can apply a whole year in advance. So you have plenty of time to set that order of sequence of what my next steps are going to be, what do I need, so on and so forth, and working through. You can submit unofficial transcripts for us at least, and we will review them, let you know if you're missing anything and what's needed. In addition to that, you have plenty of time to say, okay, these are my grades. If I bring it up to this, what scholarships may I qualify for? And the other fantastic thing is SEBA and our sister schools, should a student be applying obviously to Canadian medical schools, and also us. If they get into one of those Canadian medical schools, they seat deposit with us, we will refund your seat deposit. We certainly want to give you all of your options, keep them open. Oftentimes, students are like, I'm still waiting. I don't want to accept the seat because I don't want to lock myself in. Well, lock your seat in, hold it, so that you actually have a seat for medical school. And then if you happen to be accepted into those one of those Canadian medical schools and you decide to go that route, then that's fine. Just provide us with that letter and we'll refund you your seat deposit and wish you nothing but the best. Because at the end of the day, we both countries, both US and Canada, have doctor shortages. So we really just want to help all the students that want to get into medical school and become successful doctors to be able to do so.
Agreed, Tiffany. Thanks so much. And I agree with that. Apply early because we're not going to stop talking to you. So we do have 3 options upon decision. You can get accepted. You can join our medical education readiness program. So that's another option. It's just one additional semester you can take to, and once you pass that with a certain grade, then you're automatically enrolled into the MD program. If you get denied, we don't stop talking to you. We will guide you as to what you need to do. You have options to attend 3 times per year. So we have September, January, and May starts. So you never actually have to wait a full year to be able to reapply. You can just make those changes if they're really quick. You get very specific feedback from our review committee, which is made up of faculty on each of our islands, and they will be the ones to say, hey, this is what we want to see more of. They'll give you that guidance. You'll have very specific, this is what I need to do to improve my application, make the changes, and you can go in the very next semester if that's available, or you can make it that quick, but you never have to wait that full year. So I think applying early is definitely key. We can point those things out. We can do advising sessions with you early as well to ensure that. Also, it's never hurts to gain more experience, or if you know that there are some grade corrections required, make those things happen early. And again, that can happen with just an advising session. Even if 2 years from now or a year from now, this is my goal, have that conversation with us. It's 100% our jobs to help you get to med school. So have the conversation. Don't be afraid to reach out and get that advice early.
Thanks for that, Ruby. Josh, you're up next. And while you're turning your audio and video on, I often encourage students to ask questions. There are fabulous folks like our guests here today whose job it is to help answer your questions where something's not clear. So students, please do take advantage of admissions folks. Josh, you get the last on that.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't realize my video turned off. It's the phone. So yeah, in terms of what the St. George's offer, if you're unsuccessful and you're going to reapply, it is, again, your first application, or when you first start to talk to St. George's, it's the start of a conversation about how does whatever SGU offers, either within our School of Medicine or one of our other programs that are designed to help enhance your academic standing or your position as an applicant, where do you fit in with those? And so that's an ongoing conversation. I would say on a more personal level, I very, very, very clearly remember back in like 2005, I was at the downtown campus in MedSci and wondering, all right, well, what am I going to do now? And not really knowing who to turn to. And so kind of at that point, when I realized I was going to go to St. George's and I eventually get in, I kind of made it like a life goal that I would figure out ways to enhance the communication between Canadians who wanted to become doctors and having some sort of support system. And so SGU has given me the opportunity as a Canadian graduate to really like reach out and connect with Canadians. And I'm fortunate in that we have this whole team of like Canadian alumni who are back in Canada now and who share that same passion. And so one of the things St. George's likes to do is putting you outside of the admissions realm and having you talk to our graduates, talk to our people who are back, because we have the same passion for seeing our Canadian brothers and sisters succeed. And that's really what we want to see happen. And I think in terms of, last bits of advice in terms of what do you do going forward, I think there is an apprehension about going abroad that I completely understand, having been there myself. Once you start to recognize, I find that there are other viable options outside of Canada or even outside of North America, then you find that medicine, the way it's practiced globally, is really kind of the same. And so finding those opportunities are key, and educating yourself and learning as much as possible and asking questions are really the best way for you to find those opportunities out.
Thank you so much, Josh. Now, there was a question here in the chat box, and I'm providing an answer. The question was, are there specific courses or kinds of majors that are required? My answer was, every school is different. So it's kind of hard to, paint that with one big brush. But typically first year kinds of courses in biology and second year courses in biology, anatomy, chemistry, organic chemistry, things like that. MCAT prep is a separate conversation, right? So MCAT is different, but maybe just very quickly, maybe we can start with Josh. What kinds of courses are typically required?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So we have no specific degree requirement. It can come from anywhere, but we do have prerequisites. Typically, it's a full year of biology, chemistry, a physics or physics equivalent. So, for example, we've had many kinesiology students who have done human kinetics. Similarly, we've had engineering students who have done a lot of their hardcore engineering courses, which obviously have overlap. A full year math course, and an English or again, English equivalent. So something where you're writing, and there is a whole variety of programs that fall under that umbrella. One of the things, like I said, is that there's a large applicant pool that comes to St. George's, and so we recognize that there's some variability in both the programs as well as the courses offered at different post-secondary institutions. And so for that reason, it's a conversation. We use the broad terms because we recognize what, say, the University of Toronto calls physics might not be the same as what, say, York University calls physics. And so we recognize that there can be some variability.
Thanks, Josh. And I see, Tiffany, you've chimed in the conversation as well. Do you want to say a little more?
Certainly, what I would encourage you to do is visit each website. I know that we have all of our prerequisites listed on our website, how many credit hours, which ones require laboratories, so on and so forth. But it's the general ones, your biology, your chemistries, your inorganic and your organic chemistry. You can substitute biochemistry, so on and so forth. And then we also, our sister school has a gateway medical program. So if I have any students who are like, oh, well, I went through the nursing program and I decided I really did want to become a doctor, I don't have all of those. We have a 1 semester program that allows students to get those foundational courses, and then they have a direct seat held for them in our MD program for SABA, or if they chose to go on to our sister school instead, they could do that as well.
Thank you. Warren or Ruby, anything else you'd like to add?
Just that it's case by case, and so just keep in mind, if you have very unique questions about, can I use this course, to meet this requirement, have those conversations with us, reach out, email, we'll talk to you on the phone, we'll do whatever we need to do to make sure that we're looking at all of those pieces and making sure that your questions are answered.
Yeah, one more thing is I think a lot of misconception is you have to have an undergrad degree in order to apply. That's not the case in all med schools. You need 90 credit hours, that is, in order to enter our program, and as all of the prerequisite courses as mentioned. But for Trinity as well, we are waiving MCAT for our Canadian students just for this January, so that's not a part of our requirement. We are aware that test taking is very difficult, especially for MCAT, these very trying times. So we've excluded that as part of the admission requirements, but that will probably be changed by our next semester. So if you don't have an MCAT just yet, you can apply for the January term start.
Though I notice if you are able to write the MCAT and feel safe doing so, there were some scholarships that you might have access to with a good MCAT score. So definitely could be worth it if you feel safe doing it. So what I'd like to do now is open our breakout rooms. So if our colleagues could get ready for your breakout room, staff will also join you if we notice that you have time. So folks should see a breakout room list in front of you. If you scroll down, you'll see rooms labeled Ross University, SABA University, St. George's, and Trinity School of Medicine. You should have a button that says join. So feel free to jump in there and join. You can jump between rooms as well. You'll just click on the breakout rooms button at the bottom of your screen and you can jump. Our guests, though, we want you to stay in your room. So please do feel free to jump in, folks. I notice Warren doesn't have anyone right now. Oh, yes. And if you are having any trouble moving, let us know. You can unmute yourself or you can throw it in the chat box. Let us know what room you'd like to go to and we will gladly move you. Felicia and Bana, I notice, oh, there we go. Felicia, can we help you get to a room? I notice Warren is completely available right now. Adrian, could you maybe go visit Warren so he doesn't feel alone?
Can do.
Thank you. Felicia, just following up, can we move you to one of the rooms to have a chat with one of our guests? All right, I'm just going to drop you a line, Felicia, in the chat box. If we can move you to a breakout room, chat with a rep, let us know.